Deep in the heart of the Romania lies a forest shrouded in mystery, a place where whispers echo through the trees, where electronic devices fail without explanation, and those who enter often leave with an eerie sense of unease, if they leave at all. This is Hoia Baciu Forest, known as the Bermuda Triangle of Romania. For decades, locals have spoken of strange lights, ghostly apparitions, and missing persons. Some claim the forest is cursed. Others believe it is a portal to another dimension. Scientists have tried to explain the bizarre occurrences, yet the answers remain elusive. What makes Hoia Baciu different from any other haunted forest? Perhaps the most terrifying aspect of this place isn't what you see, but what you feel. Visitors describe an overwhelming sense of dread, sudden dizziness, and even missing time. Their phones, cameras, and GPS systems stop working, as if something or someone doesn't want them to leave with proof. But the most unsettling mystery? The vanishing people. One of the most famous cases is that of a 5-year-old girl. She disappeared into the forest, only to reappear 5 years later, wearing the same clothes, unchanged in appearance, with no memory of where she had been. Then, there are those who were never seen again. Tonight, we dive deep into the secrets of Hoia Baciu Forest. We will uncover the most chilling stories, real eyewitness accounts, and scientific theories behind the supernatural hotspot. But beware, some say that even talking about the forest can invite its presence into your life. Are you ready to step into the unknown? The legends of Hoia Baciu Forest go back centuries. Whispered stories passed down through generations. Many believe the forest is cursed, a place where the boundary between our world and something darker is dangerously thin. Some say the trees themselves are alive, watching, listening, shifting their twisted shapes when no one is looking. But perhaps the most terrifying stories are about those who entered the forest and were never seen again. The first recorded legend dates back over 100 years. A shepherd leading his flock into the dense forest. He was well known among the locals, an experienced man. He had walked these lands for decades, but on this day, he did not return. Not him, not his sheep, not a single trace was ever found. It was as if the forest had swallowed them whole. And from that day forward, people started whispering. They said the forest was hungry. But the most chilling mystery happened in the 1970s. A young girl, only 5 years old, wandered into Hoia Baciu. Her parents searched for days, weeks. Authorities combed through every inch of the forest. There was no trace of her. Then, 5 years later, she reappeared, standing on the very edge of the forest, wearing the same clothes, looking exactly as she had the day she disappeared, not a single day older. She had no memory of where she had been, as if time itself had stopped for her. But that wasn't the strangest part. When doctors examined her, they found something disturbing. Her teeth had not grown. Her hair had not changed. It was as if she had been frozen in time. Her parents, overwhelmed with emotion, took her home. But something was different. She barely spoke. She rarely slept. And at night, she would sit by the window, staring at the forest, as if something was still calling her back. In the heart of the forest, there is a clearing, a perfect circle, where no trees grow, For centuries, nothing has survived there. Not plants, not animals. Locals believe it is a gateway, a place where the spirits of the lost linger. Paranormal investigators have tried to record what happens inside the circle. Their equipment fails without explanation. Cameras shut off. Batteries drain instantly. Some report hearing whispers, voices, calling their names. Others claim to see shadow figures lurking at the edge of the clearing, watching, waiting. But one of the most terrifying encounters happened in 2005. A group of 3 friends decided to camp in the clearing. They laughed at the warnings. "It's just superstition," they said. That night, they woke to the sound of footsteps, but when they looked outside, there was no one there. Then, one of them screamed. She pointed to the trees. There, barely visible in the darkness, was a figure. No face, no movement, just watching. By morning, they packed their things and ran. But the girl who had screamed, she was never the same. She stopped talking, stopped eating, and within 6 months, she was gone. Not missing, just gone. For decades, glowing orbs of light have been seen floating between the trees. They appear without warning, sometimes red, sometimes green, silent, but moving with intelligence. One scientist tried to capture footage, but every time he aimed his camera, the orbs would vanish. Locals say these lights are the spirits of those who have disappeared, trapped between worlds, forever wandering the forest, searching for a way out. But what's even stranger is what happens when you try to follow them. One man did, a local hunter. He was used to the woods. Nothing scared him until one night when he saw the lights. He followed them deeper and deeper into the trees. The lights danced ahead of him, pulling him forward. Then they stopped, right at the edge of the clearing. The last thing he remembers is stepping forward. Then, blackness. He woke up the next morning, outside the forest. His clothes were soaking wet, but it hadn't rained. His watch was 6 hours behind, but his phone battery was dead. And on his arm, 3 long scratches, like something had grabbed him and pulled him back. Then, there are those who see them. Figures in the mist, transparent, motionless, watching from the trees. Many describe seeing soldiers dressed in ancient armor. Others see the faces of missing people, pale and expressionless. A man once described walking through the forest at night when he saw a figure standing in the distance. He called out, the figure turned, but it had no face. One of the strangest phenomena in Hoia Baciu is lost time. People enter the forest only to emerge hours later, believing only minutes had passed. Some wake up miles away with no memory of how they got there. A group of hikers reported seeing a bright flash of light. The next thing they knew, they were standing outside the forest. But what should have been an hour-long walk had somehow lasted an entire day. Their watches had stopped, their phones were dead, and none of them remembered what happened in between. One of them refused to ever speak about it again. Another started sleepwalking. A year later, he disappeared, just like the others. Hoia Baciu is not just a forest, it is a mystery, a place where reality bends, where time loses meaning, where some enter and never leave, and those who do never return the same. Hoia Baciu is not just a forest, It is a place of anomalies, distortions, and things that defy logic. For decades, researchers have tried to explain the strange occurrences here, but the deeper they look, the stranger it gets. Many who enter the forest describe an overwhelming sense of unease, as if something or someone is watching them. It starts small, a whispering breeze, a rustling of leaves, then a sensation of eyes unseen, but undeniably present. Some say they have turned around, expecting to see a person standing behind them, only to find nothing. Others report shadowy figures moving between the trees, always at the edge of their vision, never clear, but always there. Some describe a deep pressure in the air, like the weight of an unseen presence, pressing against them. And then there are those who hear their own names whispered in the wind, but when they turn around, no one is there. Cameras stop working. Phones lose signal, then shut down completely. Batteries drain instantly, even brand new ones, fully charged, die within seconds. A paranormal investigator once set up infrared cameras around the clearing. The moment he pressed record, the screens went black. His laptop frozen, his flashlight flickering wildly. The footage? Corrupted. Some say it's the electromagnetic energy of the forest. Others believe something inside Hoia Baciu doesn't want to be recorded. Hoia Baciu is known for its unsettling silence, but sometimes the silence breaks. Some hikers describe hearing laughter echoing through the trees, children laughing, faint, distant. But when they follow the sound, the laughter stops. A group of campers once recorded what they believed to be the sound of footsteps circling their tent. They played back the audio later and heard something they hadn't noticed before. A deep, guttural voice, whispering in a language they didn't understand. One of the most bizarre occurrences in Hoia Baciu is the loss of time. People enter the forest only to emerge hours later, believing only minutes had passed. Some hikers report suddenly appearing miles away with no recollection of how they got there. A group of 3 men once entered the forest around 3 p.m. They walked, explored, took pictures. Suddenly, one of them felt dizzy. The next thing they knew, they were back at their car. But something was wrong. It was dark. Their watches, all frozen at 4:13 p.m. Their phones, dead. And when they checked the time on their dashboard, it was 11:45 p.m. Over 8 hours had passed, and none of them remembered a thing. For a year, glowing lights have been reported deep inside the forest. They move, float, disappear without warning. Some are small, like fireflies, flickering in and out of sight. Other are large, bright, pulsing with an unnatural glow. In 1968, a military technician captured one of the most famous photos of these orbs. A green light floating above the treetops, perfectly round, no source, no explanation. It was analyzed by scientists, and no logical answer was found. Some believe the orbs are energy manifestations. Others claim they are portals, openings to another dimension. But one thing is certain, those who follow them often find themselves lost. Some visitors leave the forest with strange burn marks on their skin. The burns appear suddenly, like someone pressed a red-hot metal against their flesh. Others develop unexplained rashes, itchy, red, and swollen. A young woman once spent only 10 minutes inside the clearing, By the time she left, her arms were covered in bright red welts. Doctors couldn't explain it. She had touched nothing, eaten nothing, but something inside Hoia Baciu had left its mark on her. In 2013, a well-known team of paranormal investigators visited the forest. They came prepared: cameras, night vision, electromagnetic sensors. At first, everything was quiet, but around 2 a.m., one of their cameras caught movement. A figure standing behind a tree. It was tall, motionless. Then, it was gone. Seconds later, one of the team members collapsed, his skin ice cold, his heartbeat irregular. They pulled him out of the forest, drove him to the nearest hospital. He had no memory of what happened. He only remembered one thing before he blacked out. He saw a face, but it wasn't human. Hoia Baciu is not just a haunted forest. It is a living mystery, a place where time bends, where shadows move, where logic breaks. Some believe it is a portal. Others believe it is a trap. The only question is, would you dare to enter? For centuries, Hoia Baciu has been a place of fear, superstition, and the unexplained. But in recent years, scientists have stepped in, searching for answers. What they found only deepened the mystery. One of the most puzzling aspects of Hoia Baciu is its effect on electronic devices. Cameras malfunction, GPS systems fail, batteries die instantly. Scientists set up electromagnetic field EMF meters throughout the forest. The readings, wildly unstable. One moment, the EMF levels were normal, then they would spike dramatically, then drop back to zero. It was as if something unseen was interfering with the devices. Some researchers believe these spikes are evidence of intense electromagnetic energy, but others think they point to something more unnatural. A team of chemists once conducted air quality tests in the clearing. They expected normal results. Instead, they found high concentrations of negative ions. Negative ions are known to affect the human brain, causing dizziness, confusion, even hallucinations. Could this explain why so many visitors feel lightheaded? Could it be that the ghosts people see are simply visions caused by the forest itself? Or is there something more? One of the most bizarre studies was conducted in 2011. A group of sound engineers placed high-sensitivity microphones throughout the forest. They recorded for 24 hours. When they analyzed the audio, they found something chilling. Ultra-low frequencies, sounds too deep for the human ear to detect. Some scientists believe these sounds can cause feelings of dread, nausea, paranoia. But the real question is, where were these sounds coming from, and why? Were they only present in the clearing? In 2018, a biologist named Dr. Adrian Petrescu made a shocking discovery. On a moonless night, he walked through the clearing. Suddenly, he saw something glowing. At first, he thought it was an insect or a reflection. But then, it moved, a faint blue light, floating, pulsating. He reached out to touch it, and it vanished. Could there be an unknown bioluminescent organism in Hoia Baciu? Or was it something else? Perhaps the most disturbing research comes from Dr. Mihai Ionescu, a physicist who studied Hoia Baciu for over 20 years. He placed motion-activated cameras at different points in the forest. They were programmed to take a picture every 5 seconds. The first images were normal, then suddenly, A full 20 minutes were missing. The camera did not stop working. There were no glitches. The timestamps simply skipped forward, as if time itself had been erased. A group of neuroscientists wanted to test the psychological effects of Hoia Baciu. They took 6 volunteers and placed them inside the forest, alone, for 1 hour. They monitored their heart rates, brain activity, and stress levels. By the time the hour ended, all 6 participants reported feeling watched. 3 of them experienced memory lapses. 1 of them started crying, but didn't know why. And when they analyzed the brain scans, they found something shocking. During their time in the forest, all of them had increased activity in the fear processing centers of the brain, as if their minds were reacting to a threat that wasn't there. In 2020, a team of paranormal researchers placed infrared cameras in the clearing. For the first few hours, nothing. Then, at exactly 3:14 a.m., something moved, a shape, black, humanoid. It appeared for less than a second, then gone. The footage was analyzed by experts. There was no evidence of tampering, no logical explanation. What was it? A shadow? A glitch? Or something watching from beyond? Some physicists believe Hoia Baciu is a naturally occurring energy vortex, a place where gravitational anomalies distort reality. They argue that the strange lights, the time distortions, even the missing people, could be the result of temporary rifts in space-time. In other words, Hoia Baciu may not be haunted. It may be a doorway, a gateway to somewhere else, and some who enter never find their way back. Scientists have searched for answers. Some believe Hoia Baciu is simply a trick of the mind. Others believe it is a natural phenomenon. But there are those who say that no science can explain what happens here. Hoia Baciu is not just a mystery, it is a warning. Because once you step inside, you may never see the world the same way again. Hoia Baciu is more than just a haunted forest. It is a place where time bends, where light moves in ways it shouldn't, where those who enter often leave changed, and some never leave at all. After centuries of stories, decades of research, and countless investigations, one question remains: what is hiding inside Hoia Baciu? Every haunted place has legends, but Hoia Baciu is different. It doesn't just scare people, it affects them. Those who enter report feelings of anxiety, a tightness in their chest, a sense of being watched. Some scientists say this is psychological, the brain reacting to fear, but others believe Hoia Baciu isn't just haunted, it is alive, a force that feeds on human energy, that grows stronger the more people fear it. There are stories of people who went in and never returned. Hikers, campers, even experienced explorers. Gone without a trace. No footprints, no clothing, no bodies, just gone. Some believe they fell victim to natural dangers. Wild animals, hidden caves, sudden drops. But others say they stepped into something else, a doorway, a rift in reality. And they are still out there, lost as in a place no one can find. One of the most famous disappearances happened in 1981. A scientist named Dr. Pavel Radu entered Hoia Baciu with a group of researchers. He had studied the forest for years. He wasn't afraid. He laughed at the stories. But on that night, something happened. The team was walking through the clearing. Dr. Radu was only a few steps ahead. Then, He was gone. The others searched for him. They called his name. They looked for hours, but there was nothing. No footprints, no sound, just emptiness. To this day, Dr. Pavel Radu has never been found. Some people leave Hoia Baciu, but never really escape. They feel a pull, a whisper in the back of their minds, a voice that calls them back. Some return, and when they do, they act differently, quiet, detached, like a part of them never really left. One man visited the forest in 1997. He was gone for just 2 hours. When he returned, he refused to speak about what happened. For the next 10 years, he dreamed of the forest every night. And then in 2007, he disappeared again, this time for good. Many believe Hoia Baciu is a place between places, a doorway, a gateway, a portal to another world. If that is true, where does it lead? Some say to a different dimension, others to something much worse, something watching, something waiting, and sometimes something that reaches through. The forest is real, the stories are real, and whether you believe them or not, one thing is certain. Hoia Baciu changes people. Some enter and leave, feeling nothing. Some leave and are never the same, and some never leave at all. So if you ever find yourself in Romania, standing at the edge of that forest, looking at the twisted trees, listening to the silence, ask yourself one question. Do you really want to go inside?